Travel doesn't have to be expensive to be amazing. In fact, some of the best trips we've taken cost far less than most people would expect.
Today, we're going to be sharing with you 10 practical ways to save money on travel without giving up comfort, convenience, or a great experience. Because the goal isn't to travel cheap, it's to travel smart.
And especially after 50, we want travel to be easy, comfortable, and enjoyable, not stressful and exhausting. These are strategies we personally use on trips across the US and beyond.
One of the easiest ways to save hundreds of dollars is being open to shifting your travel by a day or two. Many hotel and airline websites have fare calendars that let you see this in real time. Google Travel does as well. Using these tools has saved us thousands of dollars over the years.
Another way we save money is by using positioning flights. A positioning flight is a flight that you take from your home airport to an airport that's an international gateway. And that airport that's an international gateway may have prices that are much lower than those at your airport. When going overseas, we often check flights out of many airports. Also, if there are multiple airports where you live, say Southern California, which has, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 airports, depending on where you are, you can save a significant amount by having a fairly short drive. Either way, using a positioning flight also can save you a lot of money. Or, and this is if you're using frequent flyer miles, we've had experiences where using a positioning flight let us book an award with far less miles to our ultimate destination. For example, we found that taking a $49 flight from Las Vegas to Los Angeles and then flying out of Los Angeles saved us a huge amount of frequent flyer miles, and it can also save a lot of dollars. This basic concept can work anywhere.
Now, speaking of using points and miles, points are great, but only if you're using them wisely. Don't just redeem points because you have them. A, you might need them later on for a different trip. And B, if you compare the cash price and make sure you're getting the value that you need, that's the way to do it. So probably the best use of loyalty points and miles I ever used was years and years ago. I was living in New York and my best friend was living in Atlanta. I spoke to her the morning of her birthday and I asked her what she was doing for her birthday. And she sounded a little down. She said she was going to have some dinner with her friends, but that was about it. And I could just tell that she could really use a pick-me-up. And I had miles. I looked, I called the airline. This was before the internet. And it was going to be a fortune to fly down. But it was only going to be like 20,000 miles, which at the time was still a lot. But I could do it and I could afford it. And I called the friends that she was going to have dinner with that night. And I said, can I join you? And will you pick me up at the airport? And they said, okay. And my friend walked into her dinner and there I was. It was a huge surprise for her. It totally made her day, totally made my day too. And it was one of the best uses of points and miles that I've ever had. That's why you need to save them and you need to conserve them, because when something comes up, you'll have them.
You can also use loyalty programs for value in other ways. We've had great experience using frequent traveler programs. When you're at an elite level with a large hotel chain like Hilton, Marriott, or Hyatt, you not only can get free nights, you'll also qualify for upgrades, late checkout, better service. It just depends on the situation, of course. It's important that you figure out getting to an elite level, even if it's by having one of their credit cards. That added comfort can make a huge difference on longer trips. This is especially true outside of the United States. For example, we were traveling to Santiago, Chile, and landed at the airport at about 7 a.m. local time. When we got to our hotel, we figured we were going to have to drop our bags and then leave and go around and do other things until the normal check-in time, which is about 3 p.m. Instead, even though we're at the lowest elite tier they have, they not only checked us in immediately, they invited us to enjoy their breakfast buffet for free. Now, that doesn't happen everywhere, and despite decades of travel, that was the first time I ever was offered breakfast on check-in day, and that absolutely would not have happened if I didn't have elite status.
Now, talking about hotels, a well-located hotel can save you money on food, transportation, and time, which matters even more. We'd rather stay somewhere residential than a tourist area or a central business district. We value having reasonably priced, non chain restaurants in walking distance, as long as we also have access to safe mass transit.
And on a related note, sometimes a free breakfast can be too expensive. Let me explain. You can save a lot of money, absolutely, by having breakfast at your hotel included in your room rate. But you should be aware that also could come at a very hidden cost. Think about whether your free breakfast isn't really so free. Can you get that same room for a lot less without the breakfast? For example, there's a hotel we really like in California where one tower is a Residence Inn and the other is a Courtyard. Two Marriott brands, same ownership, same building, literally the same building. The rooms actually are pretty similar. The Residence Inn have kitchenettes, but if you're there for a night or two, are you really needing a kitchen? And otherwise, they're very, very similar rooms. And we've stayed in both. If you stay in the Residence Inn tower, you get a free breakfast. If you stay in the Courtyard, you don't. The catch? That Residence Inn tower is almost always at least $50 a night more, sometimes a lot more, sometimes $100 a night more. You also, if you do that and you get that free breakfast, you may also miss out on a great local breakfast option, such as if you're in New York, a fresh bagel and cream cheese at a really good New York bagel restaurant, or a croissant from a local bakery in Paris. And you might pass on either if you just filled up on your hotel's own free breakfast. And then you'd be missing out on the very type of experience that you probably traveled in the first place to have.
Now, speaking of food, food is one of the main reasons why we enjoy travel so much. But one of our favorite strategies is to plan a few special meals and then balance that out with more casual local dining. You get the experience without overspending or overeating every day. When Bill and I were dating, I told him I'm hard to take out for a meal because I really value good food, which means that I like both high-end places that are really expensive and dives, which can be dirt cheap. I'm not usually a huge fan of places that are in the middle. We had a very memorable anniversary dinner in Porto, Portugal, and we enjoyed dinner at a Michelin star restaurant in Mendoza, Argentina. We balanced the cost of those meals by eating street food at local markets, as well as full-service meals at local mom-and-pop restaurants, which we really enjoy too.
I remember those meals, and I remember even the Uber going over to that Michelin-starred restaurant in Mendoza, which, by the way, if you're not familiar with Mendoza, that's Argentina's wine country. It's a fabulous place to visit.
And I think they have 5 Michelin-star restaurants there.
Yeah. But on the way over, our Uber driver dropped us off and said, "Hey, I don't know if are you new to town," which we were. And he pointed out this ice cream shop at the corner and said, "Best ice cream you'll find anywhere." And the next day we went back there and had ice cream, and it was fantastic. And that place has been in Mendoza, I think, since like the 1970s or something like that.
Maybe even sooner.
Yeah. So yeah, we mix high-end stuff, and we also we'll do some dirt cheap things. And the key thing, like Ellen said, is as long as the food is good, we're there. In a similar vein, in many cities, you can experience top restaurants at lunch for significantly less than dinner. Same chef, same quality, much lower price. We actually first began using this strategy here in Las Vegas well before we moved here.
And we've been here for over 25 years.
Right, and we lived in Los Angeles before that. And well, there's this steakhouse that we love, and it's incredibly pricey at dinner, but it always has great lunch specials. By having our main meal at lunch, we not only save money, but we also give our chance to work off all those calories long before bedtime rather than having a big dinner.
Now, shifting gears, we highly recommend that you book key travel experiences in advance. Waiting until the last minute can cost more, or it could limit your options. You might not be able to get into something that you want to see if the tickets are all sold out. We always book popular tours and experiences ahead of time so that we're not stuck paying premium prices, or worse, missing out. We spoke about this in our last video, which you may want to go check out.
All of this lets you travel independently, but smartly. You don't need a prepackaged tour to travel well. We plan our own trips, but still use local guides, walking tours, and curated experiences, that gives you the flexibility with a bit of structure. And that also lets you do all that without the high cost of a prepackaged tour.
So that means you can take more trips. The key to great travel isn't spending more, it's making smarter choices. With a little planning, you can have incredible experiences, stay comfortable, and still keep your budget under control.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, Better Living After 50. It's where we share practical ideas for travel, home, food, and enjoying life. And if you have a favorite travel tip or anything you'd like to share that would be of interest to our viewers, please let us know down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, safe travels.